Answers by guess. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Answers by guess. What up there,
Hey,
guess?
baby. Hey,
What's up,
baby.
bro? Holy moly. Week 1. Are you ready?
I
Are you
am.
ready?
I'm very ready.
I
Can't
love
believe it's here. Quite excited. Season 7. Let's do this.
All right, let me just finish doing something real quick here, and then we will go into our spiel. All right, guys. Remember, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, and podcasting on Spotify. Always look for those hashtags, answers by guests, and ABGFF. And the show that we're doing today is ABG3P, propositions, preparations, and preferences. Week 1, man. Like I said, I'm so amped. I'm ready to go. I feel like the energy's flowing through me for my fantasy team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a lot of different things. A couple things that probably a lot of people aren't looking forward to. I mean, like Baker is one of them for me. I'm excited to see how he looks at the Bucks, and just ready to see a lot of things hopefully come to fruition and just see how they shake out. But this is going to be a nice segue into, I think, the first thing we're going to talk about. But we got to remember, no matter what happens, that we can't overreact. We can react, but we cannot overreact. Thursday night, there's a lot of overreactions. A lot of overreactions.
I agree. I'm seeing everybody being traded everywhere. Oh my God, is this guy good? Or why am I drafting this guy? Week 1. Totally agree
Yeah.
with you, bud. So,
Yeah.
talking about that game, you got this one right. Sam Laporta over you had chosen for 34 and a half receiving yards. In the beginning, he really wasn't showing that much. And then, I don't know, it was like the middle of the second quarter, boomski.
Yeah, towards the end of the first half, I think he had 3 straight plays where he got a reception. It was nice. I had the excuse me, over 3.5 receptions, and I had the over yardage. And his over was actually 29 and a half. And he had a shot to get a touchdown, which would have gave him the 6 for 60 and the 6. I don't remember if it was him or if it was Sky that I said that for, but he almost would have had it. Goff just sort of
That was him.
overthrew him, but yeah, so it was so close. I thought he was going to have the 6 for 60 and 6, but he was right there. He had a shot, and then Jamal Williams ended up punching in on the next play. So it is what it is.
We can
Or
call
not
him Jamal
David
Williams.
Montgomery. It's the same difference.
Same concept, though.
You know what I
It's
mean?
amazing. Dude, the way the run schemes were going that game, I don't know. They kept on mentioning it. I hate Chris Collinsworth, but he pointed it out a few times. Like, look how they're moving. Look, they're constantly showing something different for that run game. It was, you could see it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
What did I text you? When they went away from the run, what happens? They stopped scoring, right?
They stopped scoring.
All right. Unfortunately, on this one, Sky Moore, donuts, man. What did he have? I think 1 rush or something like that for a few yards. What happened here?
Yeah, he did. Well, a couple things happened. I mean, he ran the most routes for the Chiefs. That's one thing that people need to keep in perspective. And he had 4 targets. On the books, he had 3 targets because one of the targets was a big play, 24 yards, that got called back for a holding. He had his first target. He was going across the middle. Mahomes threw it behind him. He would have caught that over the middle, would have been 10-plus yard gain. His second target was a deep shot, which would have been 30 plus. I want to say about 36. Mahomes overthrew him. And then the last play of the game for the Chiefs, he threw the ball to Sky Moore, and Justin Watson got his fat hands in the way and tipped it. They wouldn't have gotten the first down. It probably would have been about 24 yards once again. But he was being targeted. The problem here is they did what the Chiefs do, and they spread the ball around. I'm not overreacting at all to this situation. The biggest thing to take away from this that, you know this, Rob, but nobody else knows it because nobody else talks to me, but we had no power that night. So I went out to my car, and I'm charging my phone in the car with the AC bumping because it was hot as, and charging my phone. I'm listening to on the radio. I'm like, why don't I just watch the live feed on my phone? So then I switched from the radio to the live feed, and I'm watching it. And then I went back on Friday and I rewatched the game, which is a lot of times what I'd like to do late at night when the kids are in bed, whatever. And a few things I noticed, Detroit was playing a lot of zone defense. And a lot of Sky Moore's routes, he wasn't the only one this was happening to, but he was the one I was paying the most attention to. He had a shadow man. So there was a zone in the areas because every guy's playing a zone. And whenever Sky, because I was watching him, but it did happen with other guys. It happened with Tony, who we don't really need to talk about Tony. Everybody knows what happened with him. But again, you can't really overreact to because it was Monday night or one game week one. I mean, but he's my biggest concern with Kadarius Toney is just his health. Always he's put together with tape. I say that all the time. But Sky Moore, if he's running into the zone, one of the zone guy will drop off him. He's got a shadow man covering him, and it happened 3 or 4 times. So he's essentially double covered. And it happened with Tony a few times, I noticed. So Detroit just had a really good game plan because they didn't have to worry about Kelsey. So they said, okay, he's going to spread the ball around. Let's just play a zone. We'll have one guy shadow a particular receiver on a few plays. It just so happened it didn't go very well for him or anybody. I mean, Justin Watson's big play was a shot play. Valdez Scantling, that's all he does is shot plays. Other than that, they didn't really do much. There was a lot of short passes, spreading the ball around, not overreacting. Andy Reid will fix it. Mahomes was rusty, it seemed. I think it was a good defensive performance and bad circumstances for Sky Moore. Somebody drops him, and you got somebody worth dropping. I'm picking him up.
Yeah, it's funny. He's on my bench, and I'm just like, nah, let's see what happens next week.
Yeah.
You never know. That could be the switcheroo. I did talk to somebody. I was like, hey, you had mentioned Raji Rice. I was like, yeah, I feel like Nick's right on this one. I don't know what's going to happen. He ended up getting the touchdown at a couple of yards. So,
yeah. And even that, I mean, that you can't take too much credit for because they're spreading the balls around, and he happened to be a guy on that play that didn't have that one shadow man on him. And Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and he was finding the guy who didn't have that extra man following somebody around. They had zone coverage primarily, and one guy was following around one particular receiver from play to play. So they were trying to pick the guy that they thought Mahomes was going to go to, and for the most part, they were picking correctly.
Makes
sense. It was a really good defensive game by Detroit. They could end up. I talked about it on the Tuesday show. There's one defense that usually pops out of nowhere. I mean, Detroit could be one of those if they keep coming up with game plans like this.
I like it. All right, we're going to jump right into the week one. Like we said, propositions, preparations, and preferences, ABG3P. First game on my list, it's the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. Over under Elijah Moore, 2.5 receptions.
I'm going to, 2.5 is too low for me. I mean, anytime I like a guy, and I'm not saying I like Elijah Moore, so to speak, I don't dislike them, but they're sitting at a 2.5. It's usually something that I jump on. So I'm going to say over on the 2.5. The Browns, they are Joe Burrow's daddy, so they will make it tough. The Browns will want to run. That's what they do. But with Deshaun Watson not rusty, they will throw the ball. And there's Cooper, there's Elijah Moore, there's Njoku. And then behind that is guys like David Bell and Jalen Darden, who was a Buck. So it's ancillary guys, is what we mentioned a lot. I think 2.5 is over. I don't see Elijah Moore going nuts in this one.
Okay.
But I think over 2.5 receptions is a pretty safe premonition.
All right, let's go on to the next one here. Same game. Over under Tyler Boyd, 8.5 fantasy points, half PPR.
I think he'll have to get a touchdown to get to that because I do think Irv Smith is involved in this one. I do think that they use Chris Evans as well, a little bit more than they have in the past on third down. Um, that Browns defense is good, and they're going to need to uh, pass to the backs a bit more. So I'm going to say under 8.5 fantasy points for Boyd. I think
All
that
right.
I don't think he gets a touchdown. I think he'd have to get a touchdown to get to this. Half PPR, 5 catches, 2.5. He might get like 7.5 points, 7 points.
All right, I like it. And remember, guys, these are just prop bets that we're just kind of putting together. We kind of make them fantasy relevant. We're not taking any of these bets or anything like that. So
It's a quicker way for us to discuss the game. And if you have further questions about the players of the game, that's where we're going to spend our time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Very interesting young team against Baltimore, who could be on all systems go. Over under CJ Stroud, 195.5 passing yards.
I like the Ravens defense, but I'm worrying if I'm falling into the trap of the Ravens were once the best defense. We talked about this for years, Rob, but I do like them. They are missing some pieces. I do think the Texans will be better than a lot of people give them credit for. No Mechie.
Mechie makes a difference, man.
So it's going to be like Woods and Nico. And what do they got? They got the
Tank Dell. He seems like he has some type of love over there.
Yep, and you got the dude from I can't think of his name, the tight end from Dallas.
Oh,
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. I don't know. I think we're going to see as much Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary as we can. And I wasn't pleased with CJ Stroud in the preseason. I'm going to go under. No. I think this game's going to be closer than the 10 points that the spread is. I actually think it's down to 9 or 9.5 right now. So I don't see Texans having to play too much keep up or a comeback. I'll put them at $1.80.
It was funny. I was going to choose rushing yards for this one. They had a couple different ones, and I was going to kind of maneuver and try to figure out. But I was like, passing yards kind of makes sense on a team that you just don't know a lot about. So I thought this was an interesting one. All right, same game here. Zay Flowers over under 12.5 fantasy points, full PPR.
Over. I'll go over. I think that he's the best play for this team. Yes, better than Mark Andrews, in my opinion, especially for this game with him coming a little banged up. I could easily see him getting 5 for 50, and I do think he's going to score a touchdown. So this is going well over.
I like it, man.
Zay Flowers got to be in your lineups.
All right. Next game on my list here. Tampa Bay Bucks at the Minnesota Vikings. Over under one of Rob bonuses. K-Dot and 25.5 receiving yards.
No, Baker kind of likes tight end a little bit. He likes the shorter, easier passes, get the ball out of his hands. We talked about that with Godwin. I'm going to go over. K-Dot. He can get to 30. He'll get to that 3 or 4 for 34 for the tight end. He'll give you what you need this week.
Just to get a couple points. All right. Next one here. Same game. Jordan Addison over under 3.5 receptions. Is the rookie going to get the ball?
You see, I think that he might be a little overplayed this week. I think KJ Osborne is a sneaky good play this week. I think as the season goes on, you'll see a little bit more blooming of Addison. And then they got the best wide receiver in football. They got the highest paid tight end in football. I think he could get to 4, so I'll say over. Would not surprise me if he was at 3, though, but I'll say over. You want to do a question?
Sure, we could throw a question up there. No problem. Let me add it onto here. Oh, Jeremy, what's up, bud? How are you?
What's up, Jeremy?
All right.
Were we done with that game?
We were done with that game. And I'm doing 2 per game for this week 1, and then depending on matchups, we'll go from there. All right.
Is Jeremy the only one watching?
We have a few watchers. Guys, comment, like, share. Come on, hit us up. Say hello.
You have to. Let's break the algorithm. You don't want to share us with your friends. You don't want to give it away. The least you can do is let some strangers get involved. Like, share, comment, please.
All right. Michael C. with the question here. I don't like Najee this week against the Niners. Should I start Drake London, Mike Williams, or Khalil Herbert over him in the flex?
I don't dislike Najee this week. But if you have to, and I think that the Chargers and Miami game is going to be a shootout back and forth. Khalil, I like. I think the Green Bay game, that over keeps dropping and dropping. I think a lot of that has to do with like the offensive players for Green Bay and limbo. But Roshan Johnson is more of a concern for my Khalil right here. I'm loving Drake. I think if you're going to sit Najee, I think you got to play Drake London. I think he's the one out of those guys.
I agree, man. Drake London, I have a lot of high hopes in for week 1 here. All right, let's do one more question here. Another one from Michael C. With Kittle questionable, should I start Higbee over him? Also in that same. Oh, sorry. Let's start with that one.
I like Higbee this week. I think this is a nice week to play Higbee. Sure. If you like it, go with your gut. I like it.
All right. Also in that same lead, I need a flex between Chris Godwin, Mostert, and Jamal Williams.
You got to go with Jamal. I mean, I like Godwin. I don't want anything to do with Raheem Mostert. I understand that he's the only one, but A-Chain's going to get a ton of work as well. I'm going to go with Jamal. Kendre Miller's probably not even going to play. It's him or Taysom Hill when they get close. So I'm going to go with Jamal, the touchdown leader of NFL history, at home against Tennessee.
All right, let's go into another prop one here. Carolina Panthers at Atlanta Falcons. Over under Bryce Young, 1.5 total touchdowns.
Over. We'll get a rushing and a passing at least. Terrace Marshall is going to play. He's going to start all offseason. We didn't get to see him. You know I've been loving on this guy since last year. He is one that I'm excited to see, and it's a great matchup against Atlanta. Terrace Marshall, I think, is going to be a waiver wire darling next week.
I like it. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Over under Kyle Pitts, one of your five guys for your eyes, 4.5 receiving yards.
My God, he better. Because if he doesn't do it, the Kyle Pitts owners this year, I mean, they gave up on him last year. He's back healthy. It's not Mariota anymore. It's Ritter. And they're going to let him throw a little bit more. It's not the same coach that basically ignored Kyle Pitts. 40.5 is lofty for a tight end in the world that we're talking about. But when your only other option is really Drake London, I know they got Bijan and Algier's going to roll a little thunder in there. Just because I want it to happen, Rob, we have pretty good success with these. I'm going to say over.
All right. We'll do a couple more on the next game, and then we'll jump back into a couple questions. Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Antonio Gibson, over or under 2.5 receptions?
I think it's going to be over. But I'm starting him in 2 leagues, and I'm a little nervous because if Arizona does nothing, this is just going to be Brian Robinson running. So I'm going to say over 3 catches. He could get it. Terry's playing. Dayami, we're liking. My boy, Cole Turner, the tight end aficionado, and even Logan Thomas, ligaments made of tape, is going to play. So they're going to have their full complement of weapons, Dotson. But I do think Gibson will catch 3 passes. I think they'll run him out of the slot once or twice. So 3 receptions is easy. Let's go over.
Talking about Dotson, 13.5 fantasy points, full PPR, over under.
Again, this is tough. It's tough just because how much offense is Arizona really going to have?
This is the only game that I didn't choose one per side.
Yeah. But Washington has to score points early. I mean, no matter what, even if it winds up being a blowout, even if they could ice it with Brian Robinson running the ball all day and all night, they do have to score points. And I like Dotson. He's going to have to score a touchdown for this. He'd have to be 4 for 40 with a touchdown, and I think he can get that. So let's go over.
All right. So let's jump into another couple questions. Let me post another one. Bear with me 1 second here.
What's up, Marty? I see Marty said what's going on.
All right, Derek, with the question here. I need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flexes. Here are my options. ETN, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, a chain, Cook, Tucker, Gainwell. Wide receivers are Diggs, Higgins, Collins, Burks, Chark, and Puka. Tight ends, Waller and Higbee. Some of these guys are obvious, but I wanted to list all of the options.
Welcome to setmylineup.com. I feel like you would have to play ETN. My boy Tank, though. You got to play Brian Robinson. I really want to play Javonte. I'm going to say Brian Robinson. We got 2 flexes. Okay, let's take a look at these wide receivers before I make the call. Diggs, Higgins, Nico, Traylon. No. He's got 2 wide receivers. Let's go with Diggs and Higgins. Let's do Waller for the Sunday Night Magic.
He's a little banged up, though, so pay attention to that just in case.
I do like Higbee, but we're going to do 2 running backs. We're going to go ETN, Robinson. We're going to do A-Chain and Higbee in the flex.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's go on to another question here. Jeremy, who's the number 2 for the Jets, Lazard or Hardman? Are both worth holding?
It's Lazard on paper. Hardman, there hasn't been any word about his hand. He hurt his hand, and the only word was that he fell to 4th on the depth chart behind Cobb. But Cobb is 40. Are both worth holding if there's nothing better to pick up?
Yeah, I could say. They said that Hardman, he wasn't listed on the injury report, so he must have healed from whatever it was. But I think you're right. It was a hand injury.
There's been no word about it at all, good or bad. So,
all right, let's jump back to a couple slated games here. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts, over under Tank Bigsby. One another guy, 5 guys for your eyes, 6.5 rushing attempts.
That's a lot of rushing attempts for a rookie in the first game. If he gets 7, ETN's going to get what? 12? Maybe Lawrence has a couple. I'll go over. I think if they get close, he's going to get the ball. It's either going to be him or Lawrence. They're not going to try and bust ETN through a hole 2 yards into the end zone. They found out that doesn't work last year.
All right, next one here. Over under, same game. Alec Pierce, 30.5 receiving yards.
What a forgotten name, right?
Oh, yeah. Everybody loved him last year.
Yeah. after week 1 and 2, and then he fell apart and fell off and came back and fell apart and fell off. I'm going to say under. I think it could be wrong, but I'm going to say under.
All right. I see his name everywhere in this next game. Titans at New Orleans Saints. I had to choose him just because is it an old man? Should he be sitting down? Over under Michael Thomas, 3.5 receptions.
They got like 8 tight ends. And they got a bunch of the same guy that flies down the field. He's the old version of Olave at this point. I'm going to say under.
All right. One of our guys, same game here. Tennessee at New Orleans Saints. Over under Tajay Spears, 29.5 total yards.
I think we can get 12 and 18, so I'm going to go over.
All right. Let's do one more game, and then we'll jump into another couple questions. San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over under Kenny Pickett, 1.5 throwing touchdowns.
Over.
Oh,
You know I love Pittsburgh in this game. I said it weeks ago.
you did, man.
I was waiting for that line to get to like 4.5. It's staying right at 2.5. Steelers are going to win this one.
All right, same game. Over under Brandon Ayuk, 11.5 fantasy points, half PPR.
He's going to have to get a touchdown. And I need Debo to score.
You got to go with your head, not with your heart there, sir. Or vice versa.
I'm on tape saying Ayuk is going to overtake Debo this year. As
You did say that out loud.
In San Fran. Kittle a little banged up. 11.5. I want to say he's going to be at like 10.8. So I got to say under. I'll say under.
All right. Jeremy had another question here. Is it worth to hold on to Hunt?
Not in my mind. It hasn't been worth even considering his name this entire offseason for me. So no. No to me.
All right, Jeremy with another one here. Drafted not so good in my league. I have 3 QBs, Allen, Dak, and A-Rod. Allen is started for sure, right? Do either of the other two hold any trade value to package for a wide receiver?
No, I'd probably just drop one of them and pick up the best wide receiver on the wire. Honestly. It'd probably be A-Rod. Or just wait and see how Dak and A-Rod do. And I mean, I don't love Dak, but it depends. I mean, I don't know what the other teams look like, Jeremy. And if there's another team out there with one quarterback and maybe that one quarterback gets hurt or stinks, then that's who you target. But, I mean, there's way too many variables. And I'm not looking to trade any of my wide receivers, running backs, or even tight end for that matter for a quarterback. Because I at least have one good one that I'm rolling with. So unless something happens to my one good one, I'm not giving you any of my other guys for a quarterback. I can get a bye week fill-in quarterback. It's just sort of, especially week 1, it's too soon to be trading a quarterback for a position player.
All right. Let me do one more question here. Wesley with a question. Oh, let me get it up. There it is. Do I start White over Zay Flowers, and do I start Brian Robinson over Miles Sanders? Thank you in advance.
I don't hate White over Zay, but I'd probably play Zay if it's PPR or half PPR. Tampa Bay is going to want to run the ball. They wanted to run the ball last year, but they had Tom Brady, so they couldn't really run the ball as much because, you got to let the best of all time throw the ball. But now they have Baker, and now they can run the ball. I do think that they'll have to keep up a little bit in this one with Minnesota. So Rashad White, he can catch passes, but I'm going to go with Zay. And yes, I'm starting Brian Robinson over Miles Sanders this week for sure. And I'm not a huge Brian Robinson guy, but I just think this of any week that you want Brian Robinson in your lineup, it's this week against Arizona.
No, I agree with you on that there, bud. All right, let's go into another one here. Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Over under Michael Mayer, 3.5 receptions.
They got Austin Hooper too, right?
They do.
And what does he do? He just goes to teams and steals thunder from guys who are better than him. He did it last year, right, in Tennessee. He basically was holding Chiggy out for a while. So I'm going to go under in this one, just because Hooper's going to steal some of his targets in this thunder, and they got Devontae Adams there. I mean, Jimmy G likes to throw to his tight end. He did it with Kittle. But I'm going to go under here just because Austin Hooper, that's what he does. He murders your soul.
All right. Same game here. Over under another 5 guys for your eye. Russell Wilson, 222.5 passing yards.
It's pretty lofty. It's a high number.
That was actually one of the bets that I saw online. I didn't make that one up.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go over. Because, like I said on Tuesday, Sean Payton's there to say, "Who's your daddy? Daddy's home. We're going to fix this. I'm the offensive mastermind. I got my 2 tight ends going out there. I got my rookie, Mr. Mims. Cortland Sutton will be just fine. Jerry Jeudy might play. Javonte can catch passes. McLaughlin. I got Samaje. Russell Wilson they're going to let him cook. Sorry for using that verbiage, but it's just going to happen at home. Sean Payton's here fixing dinner.
All right. I like it. Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots. Yes or no, Ezekiel Elliott, 1 touchdown.
Yes. Yes, the Eagles score a touchdown and drive Ramondre owners mad.
Dum, dum, dum. Yes. Remember, guys, don't overreact. Week 1. All right, same game. Over under Kenneth Gainwell, 2.5 receptions.
I'm going to go under. I like Gainwell. I think he's the best of the bunch. Even though I love Penny, even though I love Swift, I think Gainwell's the best. But I'm going to go under just because there's too many other guys there. Too many other guys. I'm going to go under.
All right, I'm going to go to a Spencer question in which we are going to need some assistance. Should I trade anyone out for Bateman or Jackson? So let me bring this up. Bear with me 1 second. I don't think that's the correct team. It is not. This is the team. Let me make it a little bigger.
You could take his question off the screen. Should I trade anyone out for Bateman?
Can you see that? Perfect.
I can see it. No, nobody here.
All right, so this is his bench.
Oh, he doesn't want to trade. He wants to sub them.
Sub them out, correct. So bench is Purdy, Dillon, Johnson, Bateman, Johnston from the Chargers, Garoppolo, Warren, Samuel, or Jackson. Go back to here. This is his starting lineup.
I mean, you're not going to sit. No, I keep those guys in. Just keep them in. I mean, Deion Jackson, sure, but no. I mean, the one thing you have to remember with the whole Colts situation is Richardson. I mean, he's the best running back on the team. So it's just like.
All right. Since I have up, I'm going to put up this one for William and go to his team. William asked a question. Had to pick up Zay Jones with Cup being out. Should I make any adjustments to this one here? Burrow as a starting quarterback, Harris, Sanders, Hill, Keenan Allen, Fryermuth, Connor, Commanders D, and Dicker. His bench consists of Brees Hall, Drake London, Prescott, Sutton, Johnston, Dolce.
Oh yeah, I'll play Drake London or Sutton over
Sorry about
James
that.
Conner because I'm not. I want nothing to do with James Conner. So if you're asking me, Drake London or Sutton over Connor, and I really don't care which one. Hey guys, Sutton,
All right.
Sutton, gun to head, Sutton over Connor.
All right. I'm going to do one more because that will be my last picks. This is his other team. He's asking to see any adjustments or let it rock. So Burrow, Jefferson, Metcalf, Mixon, Akers, Pitts, and Cooper. On his bench is Evans, Cousins, Kincaid, and Nico Collins.
I probably just let it go. Who's this receivers up top?
Jefferson and Metcalf.
Yeah. I mean, Cooper and Evans are right there for me. I actually might play Evans over Cooper.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I think Mike Evans is going to be pissed because he didn't get his contract, and he's going to be like, "Look what you did."
Yeah.
Bum bum bum.
I think I'd play Evans over Cooper. Cooper is he's the great Houdini. He has huge games and he disappears. Or sometimes he just doesn't show up. Like this week, everybody's going to play Cooper. It wouldn't surprise me if he does nothing. And then next week has a huge game on everybody's bench. He could do fine, but I like Evans better this week.
All right, those are the questions that have pictures. Let's go into another game here. Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Over under Puka Nacua, another 5 guys for your eyes. 20.5 receiving yards.
You're going to see a lot of Higbee. We know what Van is. We know kind of what Tutu is. I think we're going to see a lot of Kyron Williams to go with our Cam Akers. Seattle's going to be able to put up points at will. So they're going to have to throw. I'll go over. It takes 2 catches basically to get to that. So let's go over. Is that pulled from Vegas?
That is one of the options that are out there.
I think I'll be on that.
All right, another rookie, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 4.5 points standard fantasy points.
I'm going to go under, and because they're going to limit him, he's playing in a limited role tomorrow with the surgery he had on his wrist, and like I've been saying, Seattle's going to be able to score at will. You got 2 solid running backs now. They always play 6 different tight ends. Noah Fant is the best one there. DK and Lockett will do just fine. They're not going to need to overexert JSN, so I'm going to go under. Keep them on your bench this week.
All right. Next game here, Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Chargers. Over under a chain, 44.5 total yards.
Over. It's going over. He's the best running back on the roster.
All right. You called him your MVP candidate this year. Over under Justin Herbert, 294.5 passing yards. Through the roof.
This game's gonna be back and forth. I don't know the over under. I'm gonna guess it's 54.5. I'll look it up.
Yes, please.
You want to go through some of those live comments? I see a bunch of them on there.
All right. Definitely. What's up there, Jeremy? Hello. Jeremy had a question. Is it just me or Mooney over Moore? Is Mooney worth a start this week?
Let's see how he is coming back from that injury. I do like this game to be more higher scoring. I mentioned that Green Bay, Chicago. Line keeps dropping. I think that has more to do with Green Bay's wide receivers all being banged up. I don't think it's going to matter, though. but I would go more over Mooney.
Definitely week 1. All right.
51.5. I overshot it a little.
What's going on there, Marty?
What's up, Marty?
Derek, glad Saturday night one option. Or the option 1. I like that too,
me
man.
too.
That vote, if we could do it, I mean, some days or some weekends it's going to be tough. We may just have to choose a day, but if we have an option, we'll put it out there every time. All right, Brock. I'm actually watching from the toilet. Nice. I do a lot of that as well.
One of my favorite things to do.
Get away from the kids for a little while. All right, Michael. Can I leave Najee in if he plays better, or if he's a better play?
I like Drake. I don't mind Najee. Jalen Warren is there. It is the Niners front, regardless of who's there and who's not. But I like Drake. Let's just roll with Drake.
All right, Eric, what's up there, bud? Welcome. Looks like Hunter Renfrow is out for week 1.
Wow. I wonder what happened to him.
I'm going to have to take a look at that.
I don't think that's going to change. I don't know if he typed that before or after we were talking about Michael Mayer, but
could be.
I don't think that's going to change my view on him. I think Austin Hooper is just going to be a buzzkill for Mayer, especially early on.
All right, Michael with another one here. One more. Keenan Allen or Aaron Jones in the flex?
You know what? Use Keenan Allen while he's healthy. Might as well.
Right. Sorry, for some reason. Oh, there you go. It's moving now. Report, Ramondre Stevenson did not practice Friday due to illness. 425 game. I have Gibson on the bench. Should I play Gibson if no updates before early game? Have you heard anything about Stevenson? Marty wants to know.
Yeah, Stevenson's going to play.
I'm look it up right now, man.
Stevenson's going to play. But you're just going to have Zeke vulturing just like you had Damian Harris last year. It was a stomach bug. You poop it out, you puke it out. He's a pro athlete. He's going to play. He'll be just fine. I would play Ramondre, even though the matchup is tougher, over Gibson. But you have to go with your gut.
Yeah, I would probably play Ramondre too. Gibson's a good play, but just with Arizona, I'm worried about Robinson just taking all the burn.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, what's up there, Trey? How are you there? Make sure you subscribe, bud. Burrow or Herbert week 1? Ooh, great question. Wow.
I'm going Herbert. The Browns own Joe Burrow. That's not to say that Burrow can't switch that. 100% he can. He's top 5 in the league easily, but so is Herbert. I just think this Miami, Los Angeles game is going to be back and forth. Justin Herbert, I don't know if you've ever joined us before, Trey, but I'm on record. We do sports cards, Rob and I. So we're in the sports card game, and like people love Justin Herbert. They have since he was rookie. I'm on record for years saying I don't see it. I don't understand why people love this guy. But something in me this year is saying that Justin Herbert, I think a lot of it has to do with Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator, and they're just going to open up the offense. We're going to see a ton of balls downfield like you've never seen before. For the Chargers, I think Herbert is my pick for MVP this season. I think that they are going to win the division. I said that before the Thursday night game when they were a half game before they were a half game above the Chiefs. I'm going with Herbert week 1. It's going to be a back and forth game. He's got all his weapons healthy. Yes, Herbert for me.
All right, Trey with another one here. Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas, or Miles Sanders at the flex week 1.
Rob, out of those 3 guys, who would you say that I kind of dislike that a lot of people like? There's a couple of them.
Well, I think you dislike everybody on this list a little bit, but Tyler Lockett seems to be that person.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm just never a big fan of Tyler Lockett. But I'm going to pick Tyler Lockett out of this. He's got the easiest matchup. He's at home. JSN is going to be he's going to be limited because of the surgery that he had. And Tyler Lockett's feeling the heat a little bit of the rookie coming in. Everybody thinks he's going to be the number 2 or maybe even the number 1 above DK. Tyler Lockett might have something to say about that, and I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with
Gino
Tyler
likes
Lockett in this one. Gino likes him. He's healthy. They're at home. It's a nice, easy matchup. Tyler Lockett's my pick.
All right. Oh, what's up there, Dawn? I have to drop someone for a kicker.
Of course you do, Dawn.
Benches Connor, Judy, Nico, Flowers, P. Ryan, Algier, and Dubs. It's P. Ryan for me.
Yeah. I mean, I want Connor gone from your team immediately. I just do.
Connor's at least the starter. At least
He's
that's
at
the way I look at it.
Yeah. P. Ryan's the one. Just wait it out, though. One of these guys might be out if you have an IR, Don. There's no guarantee Judy or Dobbs play.
Good point. All right, Trey, appreciate it, guys. Left the like and a follow. Good luck. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Tell your friends.
Just not your league mates like everybody else. No, don't help us grow. 7 seasons, 300 people. We should be at 3K by now.
I totally agree.
Minimum.
All right, let's go on to another game. Your Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears, over under. Cole Kmet, 27.5 receiving yards.
You know, I like this game, Rob. I don't understand why this over and under. Well, I do understand, but I can't see how this game is any less than 24-20, which means there's going to be 5 touchdowns scored. And in order to do that, I don't think that we're going to see like what we saw preseason week 1 with Justin Fields with 3 straight 80-yard touchdowns or whatever the hell it was. Cole Kmet, that's a buddy. Once he started going, Cole Kmet started going. Let's say over. That could be 1 catch. That could be 1 catch with Cole Kmet and Justin Fields.
That was actually one of them. I might be taking that one, to be honest with you. I'm high on Cole Kmet this year, guys. I really like this kid a lot. All right, same game. Over under another 5 guys for your eyes. Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, one of your 5 guys for your eyes. Well, it doesn't matter.
He was
3.5 receptions.
What a perfect segue, because I'm looking at Dawn's comment where she says that I'm hoping Judy isn't playing. She needs Dobbs as a Packers fan. And I wanted to say, you don't need Dobbs. Yeah, Jaden Reed.
Hey, Reed.
He's going over. If this is a Vegas one, ladies and gentlemen, if you have an account and you can legally place wagers, I'm going to guess it might even be lower than this. I almost want to look it up and just see if I can just take it. Because I might even
I'm pretty sure this was I'm not sure if I might have. I don't think Reed was an option. I know you had talked about him, so.
It might even be a 2.5-er.
It could be.
He's going over. With no Watson, 2nd round pick, I believe. This is that dude. This is over, Rob. This is over. 6 receptions.
Ooh, 6. I'm gonna write it down. All right. Next one here. Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Sunday Night Football. Jake Ferguson, 6.5 fantasy points, half PPR. Over.
You see, I picked him up in Dynasty and put him in my lineup, didn't you?
You want to hear the funny part? I did this last night, and I think when'd you pick it up? Yesterday?
I think so.
I think it was yesterday. It had to be. I wrote the question out, and then I think like 20 minutes later, you picked him up.
Yeah, because it was like I couldn't play Kelsey, Avi. And Chig is my other one, and I'm not loving the matchup with Chig, but I'm also have to play him in another league. Or it was Taysom Hill, and it's just like I could roll a dice with Taysom Hill. If this wasn't Sunday Night Football, if this wasn't his first game as a starter, Sunday Night Football, Dak needing to reclaim his stake as a good quarterback, I wouldn't pick him up. But he's going to get a touchdown. Bless you. He's going to get a touchdown on Sunday Night Football, without a doubt. He will get a touchdown.
All right. So that was an over. All right. I'm going to save the Monday night game for another one. Let's go. Like you said, Dawn had mentioned, I'm hoping Judy isn't Dubs as a Packers fan. You had mentioned that Reed is all you need. All right. Komet over Kittle. Jeremy.
It's risky, but he's banged up. He's got a tougher matchup going into Pittsburgh. Purdy's coming back from his injury as well. I don't hate this. We can't forget about Juwan Jennings. He's one of my 5 guys for your eyes from the preseason. He's going to take a step up this year. I don't hate it. If you like it, you got to go with your gut. I think if I was in a position, I would make this decision right before 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is what I would do.
Agree.
And I'd
have to see what they're saying about Kittle.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Josue had a question. If Andrews is out, do I pick up Isaiah Likely or Jawan Johnson? Great question.
You pick up Likely. Listen,
I like what I would do.
I really like Juwan Johnson. I loved him last year. This time last year, I was telling everybody, pick up Juwan Johnson. Pick up Juwan Johnson. He went out. He had like 2 touchdowns in the first game, right? And he's better now. He's in a better position with a better quarterback, but they also have Jimmy Graham. They got Taysom Hill. I think they have another tight end that I can't remember exactly who it is, but they literally have 4 tight ends that they're running out there. Juwan Johnson is the best of the bunch. But if Andrews is out, it's Isaiah Likely.
They have Jimmy Graham.
We saw it last year, yeah.
And Foster Moreau's there, too.
That's who it was, Foster Moreau. Jimmy Graham, Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson. So that's why it's like 4 tight ends that are all okay.
Have names.
Right. So I'm going Isaiah Likely.
All right. Keith had a question here. Would you play Zay Flowers over Jerry Jeudy if Jerry is good to go?
Yes. Yes, because the worst thing that can happen is Jerry Jeudy gets hurt in the game, which we've seen happen 8 times in this short career. I would play Zay Flowers over Jerry Jeudy. I wouldn't even think about it. I'm not playing Jerry Jeudy unless I have to. And I own him in the Dynasty League. And I'm putting him on the bench. I've had too many games where he's gotten hurt in game, and I could have played somebody else. I love him. I think he's a stud. He was a stud in college, but dude just can't stay healthy. He keeps getting hurt. And I don't want to play him unless I have to, especially if I have a choice like Zay Flowers.
All right. Last question from the group here. Antonio. Hi, friends. Good year. What's up, bud? Do you think Purdy could have a better season than Cousins?
I don't think so. I think Cousins will have a better year than Purdy.
Yeah, I think Cousins have Purdy has the weapons, but I just think the consistency of Cousins, there could be some up and downs from Purdy because, he's still technically a rookie in my eyes. Obviously he has experience and stuff like that from last year, but he didn't play a lot of games.
I'm nervous about the fall from grace. He looked really good. He did every single thing right. And I don't want it to happen, but he was the last pick. And he fell into a perfect situation. He played perfectly. I'm just worried that he doesn't quite hit what he was last year. I hope it doesn't happen for him. I'm not hating on him at all. I wish him the best. But I just think Cousins is going to have a better season than Purdy.
All right, let's go on to the Monday night game here. Buffalo Bills at my New York Jets. Yes or no, Dalton Kincaid, 1 touchdown.
This is tough.
I did a good job then.
Yeah, it's tough because I think the Jets are going to win this game. I've said that. I've been saying that for a while. But just the setup is just perfect for them to win. Um, and I just get nervous about the scoring opportunities for Buffalo unless this becomes a shootout.
I hope not, but I can see some bigger plays happening, obviously.
Because I think, you know, Diggs will be fine. I think Gabe Davis is going to score a touchdown in this one. I think James Cook is going to score a touchdown in this one. So it comes down to will they get in a position where they're close enough and Josh Allen doesn't run it in? I think that, you know, Damian Harris could punch one in. If I say yes, okay, can we have a caveat on this?
Sure.
He will score. Let's change this. I don't want to do this very often, but I think he has a better chance of scoring a touchdown than Dawson Knox.
Okay.
So I'm going to say yes, but if he doesn't, then Dawson Knox also won't. Okay? You understand me?
Got it.
And I don't know if I say yes, he's going to score a touchdown. But I think if he doesn't, then I also think Dawson Knox doesn't. Because I don't know if there's going to be that many touchdowns to go around.
All right. No, I could see what you're
know what
saying.
I mean?
Yeah.
I think he'll have a better game than Dawson Knox. Let's put it that.
All right. And the last one here, McCole Hardman over under 19.5 rushing yards.
I'm going to say under because something's up with his hand. They're being way too quiet about it. No positive news. Usually no news is good news. It feels like no news is bad news with Meek Hole for me. And I don't know if they want him running the ball. I think that they will use him quite sparingly in this. I mean, Rob, you said you watch Hard Knocks. Has he been practicing?
He was on the field. Yeah, he was out there with the team and stuff like that. Yeah, it seemed like he was doing okay. I mean, they weren't showing too many clips of him based on the storyline, but he was catching balls. And again, he isn't on the injury report. So
yeah, it just seems so weird to me because it wasn't like he hurt his hand, he's fine. They're just like, he hurt his hand. Nothing. Radio silence. I'm going to go under with the rushing yards.
All right. Marty, Jets are going to win. Have fun. Thanks, bud. Definitely appreciate that. I am going to have a blast. I cannot freaking wait. The two guys that I'm going with, we've been pumping each other up. We're sending pictures of jerseys and shirts that we're buying, talking about all the food we want to eat. I am definitely...
I'm jelly.
Sorry, bud.
Jelly. That's okay. I'll be here, hopefully on my couch. Hopefully we don't lose power again. I got to go in the car and watch it. But
dude, that was crazy. All right. Any more questions, guys, that you have for us?
I like that it's right at 1 hour, Rob. We did a lot of chit-chatting. We went through all the games. We went through all the questions. We answered some live questions. We are under an hour. This is exactly what we're looking for. I told him to hold up an answers by guest sign. I told him to get a damn piece of construction or whatever that thing, poster board, and put the answers by guest logo on it and hold it up. He won't do it.
Do they let posters into the games like that? I mean, I could.
Have you ever seen people on TV with posters?
How the hell do they get it past like security and all that? I guess do they just walk in with it and make the signs there and then?
Why can't you just write on it and walk in when the guy goes, "What's this?" You go, "It's a poster."
All right. I mean, I could try.
Come on, answers by guest poster.
All right, Jeremy's got to go.
We got to share ourselves.
UFC started. Hopefully, I win both leagues this week, despite some not good draft. Dude, everybody kind of drafted a little weird. I feel like this year there's a lot of potential out there, I would say, with some guys.
Great.
No,
I
you
love
stop
every
that.
single one of my teams.
You
I
stop
love
that.
every single one of my teams. I will go 6-0 this week.
All
I feel
right.
it.
We'll look for it. Please, yes, definitely look for me on TV. If you see it, please record it, send it to me so that I can add it to the video next week. Hand over $100.
That will work. That will definitely work.
All right. Who will be the hot? Oh, I'm sorry. Fantasy Football Wizard of Odds, dude.
Our
Fantastic
favorite.
name. I love it, dude.
It's
I
our
swear.
favorite person.
Who will be the hot waiver ad after week 1? Fantastic question.
I mean, if he's not already being added, Jaden Reed. But I mentioned it in the show. I think Terrace Marshall is going to be getting scooped up. He's healthy. He's going to start for the Panthers. I've been talking him up since last year. Once he finally got healthy, now he finally has a quarterback. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver on the team. If you say Mingo is the number 1, I think Terrace Marshall is going to be somebody. There's a couple guys that we gave on the last show that you were a part of, but you may have joined us late on that one as well. Guys like Jaleel McLaughlin, who are going to get some burn because Javonte, maybe they don't let him go 100%. But I would say a lot of Cole Turner, we talked about, tight end for the Redskins, tight end for the Commanders.
Yeah, possibly soon to be.
A lot of people don't know who this dude is. Logan Thomas is going to play. Diami Brown, who we talked about, back with his quarterback from college, Sam Howell. They're saying he's going to have a role. He will usurp. What's his face? The dude that we hate, Curtis Samuel. Yeah. We don't know if they'll need to throw much, so Turner and Diami might need to wait a week. But these are guys. I mean, Fantasy Football Wizard of Odds, we are weeks ahead on the week 1 waiver wire ads. And all you got to do is go back and look at 5 guys for your eyes from the preseason and 5 guys for your eyes from the Tuesday show. Those are the guys that we think will be the hot waiver ads after week 1. But just to name a few, I did. And Terrace Marshall is one who I think he's going to have a nice week 1, who we haven't talked about since the preseason. He's been banged up. He's healthy. He's going to start. He's a name that people will be shooting after.
And just to kind of chime in on that, Adam Thielen's actually banged up and could be a question. It's questionable and is a game time decision there. So
there you go. Terrace.
All right, guys. I'm going to say we're going to call it quits here. Remember to always like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon. And I will be posting this on Spotify, hopefully within the next few minutes here. And always look for those hashtags, Answers by Guess, ABGFF, and ABG3P. We appreciate you guys watching. Best of luck week 1. Remember, what did Guess say in the beginning? Tell them again.
You can react, but do not overreact. This is week 1. Watch the games. If you can't watch the games, at least watch highlights or try and watch something to actually see what happened. Don't just be a box score reactor. Because just like Sky Moore, a lot of things happened in that game that created what he wound up with. So react, don't overreact. And I'll be back Tuesday to do what I do, to talk about the week, to get us ready for week 2. So hopefully I can help you through that. But best of luck tomorrow. I know a lot of you are going to be putting questions in the group page on Facebook. Rob's going to be tied up. I'm going to be tied up. We will do our best to answer them. But if you get them to the page before noon Eastern, at least 12:30, that will give us a shot. Anything that comes after 12:30 Eastern on the page, I'm sorry, but I cannot guarantee that I'm going to see it because at that point, I'm putting in my stuff and making sure that I got everything taken care of on my end that I need to. I'm talking about my family. So I could do nothing but eat chicken wings and sit in front of the TV for 12 hours.
Chicken wings.
That's how it goes.
All right, guys. Remember, Answers by Guess. Peace.
Good luck.